All right. I can see the live button, but do you want to here you go. Phil, I'll just paste the link for you in the chat. That's where we're live. All right. Confirming we're all live.
Yeah, super. We are live.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the 16th of February, 2021, and we're doing Build It with Phil. And Phil, you're at FOSDEM last week. So I don't know if you want to share what you were going to what you shared there, or you want to just share some builds from there. But I'm really excited to see what's been going on.
It was ages ago.
It was ages ago. Yeah, I did. All right. Well, jump into it.
I can't spell. Here we go. Bang. Let's get some other Muppets to watch. All right. So,
and it's also when it's live, so any questions that come through the chat, I guess I'll just make sure I see them in the chat, and then I'll just either interrupt you or wait till you've shown something cool and then ask you.
Yes, right. All right. Share screen time. Oh, a little live button. Cool. All right. Loading panels. All right. So what I showed at FOSDEM was how to build a fully operational Holochain application from scratch in about 4 or 5 minutes. And it all worked, so it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty simple application. It's just you just create thing entries in a list, and you can edit them, update, and delete them. That's it. But the structure of the project that it gives you shows you how to do everything that you need to build what I think is a pretty decent Holochain app. Of course, with all the iterations we've done on Elemental Chat, there's a whole load of learnings coming from that I'm bringing into the things that I'm building. So really looking forward to that. And I'm so stoked that you guys are actually using the app that I built to test Holo. That's like, pretty happy about that. All right, so what I want to show you today is the evolution of where things have gone. So most people, consultants, developers, designers, everybody, content managers, they'll, a lot of consultants work across multiple organizations. So I've allowed that here. So I've got 2 organizations here, Holochain, obvious, and Eat, Sleep, Code, Repeat, which is my consulting firm. And there's a really cool song that Fatboy Slim did, Eat, Sleep, Rave, Repeat. So that's where that's from, but pretty much what I do. And I want to show you a couple of things that I built. So everything that you see in Builder and here now, I actually built with Builder, made that into modules, and then use those modules back in Builder. It's a bit Inception, but it works really well. So there's an app called Kanban, which is a Vue CLI module, and it just gives you recursive columns and cards, typical Kanban stuff, but it's a very basic setup. So I used that, I installed that into Builder, and then I've modified it myself to suit what I want, which is where I see all of this going, that people who don't want to code can get the larger building blocks and put them together and go, right, for my solution, I need like secure client notes, I need some project management, and I need an invoicing app. And you can just literally install all those with Builder and make your own app and publish it up on Holo or Holochain. However, if you want to then, change it, modify it, give it your own flavor, you can do that. All right, so I did that with Kanban, which I'm about to show you now. So, and here we go. This is the Kanban module. So this is my Holochain organization, and this is all of the projects that I've got in there that I'm working on. And these are actually all real things. So this is my actual real workload. And here are the columns that are in each of the projects. And at the moment, they don't show anything, but soon they'll show a summary of like, there's 17 cards in here, who's working on them, emojis and that sort of stuff. So let's drill into one. Look at Build a Kanban, which is what I've been working on. Now, I just want to stress here that I'm using the beautified material design framework on top of Vue, which means that even I can make what I think that looks really cool. What do you reckon? Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, this looks incredibly cool.
Right, so I made this myself, right? And I'm not a designer. I just used all of the components in the Beautify library and banged away and made my own bits and pieces. So these are all, scrolling and all that kind of stuff. So you can, let's edit one, shall we? What was I working on before I came in here? Assignees, right. So the assignees on a card, at the moment you can't see it because it'll show up in this bottom toolbar here, the avatars for each person who's assigned this card. And to do that, I need to do the profiles and personas app again. And this time, Arthur and I have come up with a really, 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 really cool design. And I love it because we've been going backwards and forwards for the last 2 or 3 years, this way, and then this way, and then this way, and this way. And then a couple of weeks ago, we're like, let's use both of them. Symbiosis, man. Yeah, nature again. So what we've got is, or what we'll have very soon, is a personas DHT that will run as a conductor admin, which means that every single conductor that's running all over the planet can run it. And what that will have is that people will be able to put their really, really public information, such as your common avatar, your handle, your name, maybe a first name, last name, that kind of stuff that gets used all the time. And then now there's only one instance of it, right? There's only one instance of my name. So any profiles that want to use, need an avatar or a handle, instead of storing that in their own DHT, all they do is they store a pointer and they say, right, for Phil, when I want to go and get his avatar, it's in the conductor service personas app. And here it is. This is the hash address for it. You can just pull it out, which means that you only have one instance of that piece of information, which being male, you haven't actually had to change your name, but my wife changed her name to my name when we got married. And I kid you not, it took nearly 2 years to get through all of the bullshit, right? It's just incredible, right? Because all of these different services, every single government department has a copy of your information. And they have a copy and a copy and a copy. And you can't remember it, and you have to do all these different, and it's ridiculous, right? So now you can just go and change your name in one place. And anytime somebody wants your name, it'll be updated, right? Bzz. Super cool. All right, so let's, so you can see we've got emojis because I love emojis, and we've got tags, and we can go and edit one of those. Assignees, let's card, let's say assignees. Got a description here. You can add tags in here. So this is, let's say, what do we want to do? Let's say Kanban in there and agents. Right, and let's add a new one. We'll just call it lockdown because lockdown's heaps of fun, hey? Did you notice how that changed color as I typed? So I've got this cool little algorithm that goes on the letters in the letters in what you type and uses that to create a hex number for the color. Yeah, why not? So when I enter that, so now I've got these extra tags on here, and you can see here, this is where the list of agents that are in this profile, in this organization will show up here, and you'll be able to multi-select those pretty soon. No, I love emojis, so let's go and do an emoji. Let's do, is there an emoji for, I got locked down and couldn't go to the beach today? Let's see how that goes. Right. And you can just click on them to get rid of them too, by the way. This is all running in Holochain, by the way. So there's no smoke and mirrors anymore, right? So that one's down there. Actually, I'm working on that, so we'll drag that up here. Oops, where'd it go? There it is, the assignees at the top there, and the tagger. I'm just going to drag one of these into a different column to show you what happens. Put it over there. Boom. You know, normal stuff you'd expect in any kind of, you know, swim lane project management tool, except that I built it and it's really cool. Now, this is all fun and games, right? We've got it all. So I'll show you what. So in the browser database, developers, if you're not using Indexeddb, I would strongly suggest you do it, and with a thing called 𝗔𝗯ance on top of it, because you can store up to half of your host machine's hard drive worth of stuff in Indexeddb now. So there's literally no storage limit, and it's super fast, and it's really cool. A lot of the browsers are using SQLite, which is what we're refactoring Holochain to. So the databases will be SQLite, so similar. Right, so in here, we have the builder Kanban, and here's all the cards. Just open this up a bit. I just want to show you this because the next bit is really fun. So here's all these cards. You know, here's a card, it's got card type, entry hash. So the entry hash is because it's been into Holochain and come back. I am storing the entry hashes, agent IDs, cell IDs, all that stuff as an encoded base64 string, which makes it nice and easy to handle in the browser. And then when you need to send it back over doing call zone and things like that, you just convert it back into bytes and send it down. It's nice. So we've got all these cards, right? All this work, 70 odd entries in here. Now, what happens if you go and change some code in the DNA? Right. As soon as you change the code, it's a new DHT with a new address with no data in it, which is exactly what it's meant to do. The problem is that I want to keep using it. So I've been adding, as you can see, I've been working on this today. So I've added in like tags, 3 actions, description as extra fields. Next thing I'm going to add in there is assignees. And then I would rebuild the DNA. And then when I connected to it from Holochain, because what happens when you do a fetch here. So when you do fetch cards, the reason the UI is so quick is because I get all of the cards out of that Indexeddb in the browser. Just get all of these out of here, and then I put it in the UI, super quick. Then in the background, I go and call Holochain and say, right, get me all of the stuff out of Holochain. And when it comes back, I want you to update the browser with the things that are in there. Now, if it's a new DNA and it comes back with no records, it wipes my Indexeddb, right? And now I've lost all the work, which is a little bit painful. Luckily, I didn't do that because I knew that was going to happen. So what I did was I have developed a migrate tool. So as opposed to, you know, like when somebody creates a new DNA and you want to migrate the data from the old DNA to the new one so that you can keep using it. We haven't got that actually working yet in Holochain, but we will see. I think Michael's working on something like that. But what I wanted to do is keep doing it. So what happens is that if there are records in the Indexeddb and it comes back from Holochain with nothing, it's going to set this migrate tool, which will give us a button here, right? So let's do it. Stop talking. Stop talking. Demos. Right, here we go. I have a production conductor here. So I'm just going to blast everything there. And shut everything down. Right, nothing up the sleeve. Boom. Start. I'm using Nix directly on the host machine now instead of the Docker container because I found the Docker container, because of the extra kernel and stuff, was a little bit slow. And Builder is now so good to use that it was actually getting in my way. So I've just gone straight to Nix shell now, which is really nice and fast. But the Docker container still works if you're using Mac Big Sur. Aussie ginger beer. Right, so when this fires up, need to go and add a app interface to the conductor. Right, done. right, wasn't too slow. So now we can go back to the organizations. And if we have a quick look in the console, you'll see it's complaining because I don't have a cell ID. There's no cell because there's nothing installed in Holochain, right? Because we just killed everything. So what you can do is go here to your agent. It's got my avatar and stuff there because I already did that before, but I made this little upload thing yesterday. It was really neat. Let's go that one, change it. And now I can create a new agent key for myself. Once that's done, I can install all the DNAs for Builder. At the moment, it's just the Kanban one, but very soon it's going to be the version control system. It's going to have the profile system, and there's one more, the notes thing. So I'll install that, and I'm going to change this because I like my avatar. I made this avatar like 10 years ago. It's too easy. All right, so now if we have a look in here, it's not complaining because it's connected nicely. Right, so I can now go back to the Kanban app, which has still got all my stuff out of the Indexeddb, so it's still working, as you can see here. And now this button here has changed from a refresh button to a migrate, or it's an MDI for cog transfer, which is the closest one I could find for migrate. So what I'm going to do is show you the console where we do this. Hit this button here, dunk. And what this is doing is going through the whole list of all the records in my Indexeddb, and one after the other, punching them into Holochain again. Because say you and I were working in an organization such as Holochain together. Ah, motherfucker. Something died there. That is not good. Because I just, oh, that's right, because I changed the tagging thing, right? Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. Because what would happen is we're working on the DNA, change the DNA, compile a new DNA file, and I'm the first person to do it. So I'm going to migrate the data into that new DHT. I then send you the new DHT cell and say, hey, come and join me on this one. And when you hit it, you'll get gossiped all the records.
Wow. It's like you're just building piece after piece of the world here.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Right, so I'm going to have to go investigate that problem, but that's not an issue. Right, so yeah, so now it's all migrated over, all ready to go. So now we can go and look at some other stuff. So let's go to here, we'll go back to organizations, and we'll go to developer, because that's going to run in the background. And here, I have opened my notes app that I was working on, et cetera, and I am on the main branch. So now if I go to code sharing, fingers crossed, because I was working on this 3 seconds before I answered the call to you. Right, so it has now, so what that does is goes and checks my local file system for all the files that I was working on, and then updates the UI. So that means that I can work in Visual Studio, which is awesome because it's a much more advanced editor than I've built, but it just does editing, right? So what you can do is you can use this in conjunction with Builder to use all the accelerator tools I've built in here. Excuse me, burpee ginger beer. So you can use both, right? And that way you don't have to use Builder. You can just use a terminal and Visual Studio if you like, or you can use this, or you can use a combination of all the different ones. And now here you can see we have the main branch, which I branched up into a test branch, and we can switch to that branch. So let's go and switch to number 1 test. And I'm going to quickly switch to the file system. And you'll see here that the notes, see all that happened? Right, it was a bit quick. But what happens is when you change branch, it wipes all the files for the notes that are there, and then rewrites them all out of the out of here. Out of the commits list. So every time you do a commit, you get a list here, and you'll see that it has a commit has new files, it has updated files and deleted files. It also has time and all that kind of stuff, and the branch it's on. Now what happens is that when you do when you update a file, it uses the Google diff match patch process, which gives you a standard GNU patch text for patching your text files. So the updates here are only like super minimal. And even though I've got a full list of all the new files here, each time you do a branch, so like, you know, we're going along on the main branch, and I created a new branch called one test. This new branch has a full copy of the files at that point, so that I can then carry on and do that. Right? Now, when I get around to saving these in Holochain, then you're just gonna, so the files that are the same from the main branch to the new branch, like haven't been changed, are gonna link to the same file. So even though it's not super efficient for space in the browser, which it doesn't matter because I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive, so who cares? But in Holochain, it'll only link to the one file. So it'll be super efficient inside Holochain. Right, so then we can, so we're on this one test branch now. So you can see I'm in the Holochain organization, notes app on that, that branch. And my menu's doing some weird stuff. But anyway, we try turning it off and on again. So here we go. This is my notes app, right? On this different branch. So now I can go and make a change. So I don't know, let's go and change the README file. Oops. And we'll say this notes on one-test branch. Save that, go to code sharing again, review my changes. And again, it's checking on the hard drive again, because I could make some other changes. So actually, we'll go and do that. So let's go and do that, because that's always fun. Let's go and change. How long have I got? I've got like 5 minutes. Cool.
Yep, you got 5.
All right, so if I go in here and I change the README file to a FM file, and now I go back to here and I do code sharing again. Right, so it's calculated the changes that I've made. It's calculated change. It's also figured out what the changes are when I do the merge back into the main branch. So I can go and look in here and say changes. What changes have we got? Right, so we added this thing called RTFM and we deleted one called README. Cool, that's exactly what we wanted. Right, so I can commit that and let's go and, so that file doesn't exist anymore, right? So I can look in here and here's my RTFM file. Cool, and it's got the changes that we made. So now we can, so we've checked in everything. We've done all the commits and that kind of stuff. So now we can go back and check, and we should be able to do a merge back into the main branch. The merge. This git graph thing is actually called git graph. It's a really neat little JavaScript thing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So what changes have we got? Right, so the merge back from the one test branch, which we're on here, into the main branch is we're going to add this file and delete this file. So it looks good. Ready? Boom. All right. So There's a couple of refresh things I need to work on there, but let's go and look at this again. So now we are back on the main branch. We've merged our files in, which if we go and look on the hard drive, you should see, there it is, RTFM. Yeah. Sweet. It's calculated all that stuff. And then look at that. Merge back in. Brilliant. So the really super cool thing about this is that the Holochain side of this is really easy. Right? I don't even have to do updates or deletes or anything. I can literally just save these commits. So if we go and look at this first one, so this was the main branch when it was merged. You can see there were no updates, but it had a new file here. There it is. Boom. And it had a deleted file. Yep, cool. There was also a merge, a commit here. We had some new files. So when you create the branch, you see all the new files are in there. And the new files consist of the like the file and the content. The content is done, it's like, yeah, it's just the content of the file. If it's an image or whatever, you get the data URL. Right, so all you have to do with Holochain, right, is save these commits. Right? So if I put those commits into this builder developer Holochain DHT, and they get gossiped to you, all you need to do is open it. Well, you can't do it yet, but because I'm getting there, you can just open this project and load all these commits. And what happens is they go down in order. So you'll get the first one, which is another merge. When we created this first branch, so you get that one, and then you'll also get the branch that we made, and then you get the merge. What happens is that those commits are used, these commits, to update this thing called committed files. So this is the file system as came out of the commits in order. So now when I make changes to the current files, I compare it against the committed files and I can figure out what the difference is.
Cool. Really cool. I'm conscious we're at time, and we've got one quick question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so the questions come through. So you can use the builder to create the scaffolding for your app and use the editor of your choice to do the primary editing, is the question.
If you like, or you can use my awesome editor. So the editor is actually CodeMirror with a whole bunch of configurations and plugins and stuff that I dropped in it to make it good for editing these particular types of apps. So it's got like Vue stuff and JavaScript. I also made this little function too, so you can build it. So what I did with the Kanban app, I actually started a shell, like an empty one. I installed the, I'm going super quick. I installed the Kanban app from here, which is really basic. And then I made this Kanban app. No, that's not what I did. I installed something else. I can't remember. And then I turned it into a module. So the like an application that you're working on. So I'm working on builder. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Then you can turn it into a module, which you can then push up to the NPM as a Vue CLI plugin, so that then you can do it from the command line, or you can make another module like this, which is exactly what I did. So I went in here and I made Kanban, got some screenshots, etc. And we go and look at the, and I promise this will be the last thing. App Store, Builder Shop. Right, so here, Kanban module, right? That's it. There.
Yep.
And that's it. So you can install it on command lines, from tools, whatever, right? Oh, and cool, also value flow. This is really important. So this doesn't do anything yet. It's a placeholder for work I'm doing with Professor Stephen Alexander and Belinda Noakes on applying value flows, so I built this Kanban app and I have a value flows equation on it that says that when you want to use it in one of your apps, you're more than welcome to use it. And then the value that you create or what you did flows through the value flows equation and I get my cut.
Yep.
And because Holochain can do like super duper nano transactions, we can actually track everything and everybody will get a cut.
Yep.
Awesome. And I'm done.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow, thank you. I was just imagining here in 6 months' time, there'll be a few hundred people looking at this stuff. Is so powerful.
Yeah, so my next objective is to do the profiles and persona stuff so that I can get other developers using these tools to work with me.
Okay, superb. Well, catch you in. Well, we've actually got scheduled next week. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to keep it at next week. So let's do that. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks, David. Thanks. After all that work and you can't treat me like that, unreal.
So good. Wow, so good.
Yeah. Have you seen that advertising for going to the Northern Territory?